more and more reports of UFO sightings every single day, in addition to testimonies from even former military personnel of alien contact. I mean, look at this article right here up on the screen, and it's only from several weeks ago from Time magazine, and the headline is "The Government Search for Aliens and Why They Probably Exist." And these hearings and testimonies are going right before Congress. So you have to ask yourself, just as this article from Time magazine, and suddenly look at the right of the screen. All of these hot toys show up in the same page. So you have to ask yourself, are hot toys and alien activity related? Hold on, wait a minute. Looks like I'm getting a call. Could it be from one of these extraterrestrials? Let's pick it up and find out, baby. Hello? It's the 13th Crystal Skull again. Hey, what's going on, 13th Crystal Skull? Actually, yes, I'm going on an escapade in just a couple of weeks, and hopefully I'll be able to see if I can retrieve you. Well, that's really... Well, aliens are abducting these hot toys. Okay. And that's why the Luke Snowspeeder pilot is on waitlist, because you had to take them to planet Telboria. Well, I'm from planet Telboria. That's like 500 billion light years away. They don't have it released there, so you... Okay. And you already told me that. You took the Bespin Han there prototype to show, the society and culture over there. What do you mean that they've already released it? They've already not only announced released the Bespin Han over there. Well, bring some over here. It's like you took the Luke pilot. Hey, hello, Skull. Well, there you have it. A call from the 13th Crystal Skull. You have to wonder if that was actually the Hot Toys wizard. And listen, with all of these figures you see on the banner disappearing off of pre-order left and right, what is the long-term prospect of securing one of these if you decided that you wanted them after the fact? Well, I've got the coffee right here in his great thermos, my friends. Let's go ahead and dive into all of this right now. All right, and welcome to another 100 proof short right here at 6 Scale Cantina. I am your host, Aries Tarrington, and let's go ahead and dive right into this baby. So, waitlisted. And these figures over here, this is very, very interesting. The Luke Snowspeeder pilot that was up and available for, gosh, how long already? That an 89 Batman, that 2.0, if you will, of the old DX one, on waitlist, both versions. You've got Cyborg, just about gone. We're going to get into that. Same thing with Indiana Jones. And the Flash Batman, the one that so many collectors lost and spilled their coffee over, baby, is on the wait list. Are these potentially future grails, and what does this mean for collectors coming in or collectors that didn't pull the trigger on this and want to go get these figures in the short and long term? What is the value of these? What would be the going rate of these? How difficult would it be to obtain one of these at a reasonable price? Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the trends going on with some figures very, very similarly here that we could go ahead and take a look at to try and get some of this information. Now, when you're talking about figures like those two Batman figures that are very, very new on pre-order, going on waitlist, while they're on pre-order, much like this Green Goblin from Spider-Man No Way Home did, you could see right here on the screen, pulling this up just back from January 12th, $465. Wow. From an outstanding seller with 131,767 feedback, not including taxes. When you go and look at this price at $465, and you go ahead and you pull up in comparison what it is for retail on this particular figure, it's very, very telling in the fact that this here is $400. So already with this particular figure set, a $65 difference, and this is up on eBay in a bidding war. And is this a trend that we can use as we go ahead to try and figure out what is the future on any of these on the banner and some of the other ones coming up? But let's continue to go on. That shows you right there, and every version of the Green Goblin, whether it's this is a modern suit, but the old one they put out too for the same movie with the old look, whether it's the deluxe or the regular, it doesn't come with the ship there and everything that he stands on. What else is going on? So now when you pull this up on the screen here, let's look at Loki. And this Loki here, TMS 061, okay, from the Disney television series, 31 bids, $300. Wow. Now, how does that compare to where it was on retail? And pulling this up onto the screen, you could see very, very clearly it's on waitlist, and it was $280, already $20 more than where it was on retail. Let's continue to go on. And I can pull this up on the screen, and I see this continually going for $600, over $700 on this Warner Brothers 100 Wonder Woman. Now, the difference with this one and some of the other ones that I showed you is it wasn't an limited or exclusive release. This one was limited to just 1,500 pieces. But again, as I've mentioned before, even though with some of these are telling you what the production numbers are, you do have to wonder if some of these other ones that they're putting out, like Gore from Love and Thunder or Mighty Thor from Love and Thunder, just using that as an example, if they're really producing much more than 1,500, like with this Gal Gadot Wonder Woman, than they did here, or with like the three artisan releases that Hot Toys already put out, whether it's the Scarlet Witch artisan version, which was limited to 2,500 pieces, or the Anakin, which was limited to around 3,000 pieces, or the Joker, which was limited to 4,000 pieces. So it's really, really interesting but $617, and not including 25 in shipping, and from an outstanding seller with 352 feedback, all 100% positive, not including taxes. Wow. I mean, $700 range, which is what I'm seeing for this figure. But what did this figure go for? And pulling this up onto the screen, $405. Again, giving us some data as to what we can put together with some of these figures that are no longer available once they go on waitlist. And then I'll give you another comparison of when they not only get into stock, but perhaps stay in stock. And I'll pull this up onto the screen. And right here, you can see with this figure, this is an Iron Strange, MMS 606. And from an outstanding seller with 100% positive feedback, all positive feedback, $255. And new, not including the modest $13 in shipping, not including taxes. And what does this go for at retail? And typically, $445. Does supply and demand have anything to do with what I've been showing you so far? If so, why or why not? And when you take a look at everything that I've showed you so far here, let's start and look at the Luke. This Luke right above me here, Snowspeeder pilot, was available for forever and a day, it seemed like. And like the Lando, and not quite as low as the Lando, but pretty low, you could pick this figure up, $150, $175, $140 to $175, well below retail. It was available. And now, when you go ahead and try to go ahead and pick up this Luke, for instance, on Sideshow, now this figure is on waitlist. And whether some of you know this or not, this has finally hit the waitlist. But you have to ask yourself, now that it did, is it possible that it will continue to sell around $150? Or will it actually increase in value? And when you go take a look at what this figure suddenly is selling for now, instead of in the hundreds, you could see right here, just from January 26th, pulling this up onto the screen from an outstanding seller with 204 feedback, all 100% positive, $231 with 7 bids. So it's starting to amp up there a little bit, not including the near $17 now in shipping, not including taxes. So right there, a gargantuan jump from a figure that was available for forever and a day. Does this figure now have the potential to keep climbing the ladder, not only to its original retail price, but beyond its retail price? And not only beyond its retail price, which was at $270, but could it get close to doubling it or being almost like $150 to a couple $100 more and have a grail status? We'll have to look at some things here with this figure. But pulling this up onto the screen. When you take a look at the Lukes that are coming out now, the DX24 and 25 Bespin Luke come to mind. That is absolutely sensational. So is the DX22 and 23 Mandalorian Luke Skywalker. But I tell you what, I believe for me, in absolute direct comparison with those figures, and you're also seeing that flash, my Luke collection here, on the screen as I'm talking about this. This particular figure right here, I mean, just look at that head sculpt. Is it possible that this, for some people, is the absolute best Luke ever? And I say, yes. And for some people, not only is it the best ever, or actually rivals the new Bespin Luke and the Mando Luke, it is by far superior than the Return of the Jedi Lukes for many collectors and the other Lukes that are out there as well. But this is also iconic. This is an iconic outfit for Luke Skywalker from The Empire Strikes Back. And I tell you what, when you look at these pictures, I mean, just look at that there. And, when you talk about in your display, which I have this figure, I mean, that is such an incredible looking Luke Skywalker. I mean, look at that. Look at that. Is this going to stay around retail? Or is this going to climb like some of the other grails? This is outstanding. That is outstanding looking. And when it comes to a figure like this, is it possible this one could be a future grail in the making? And I say yes. I really, really do. And with that means that, is it possible some of these other figures that are still in stock and that have been in stock for seemingly forever and a day, that they can also go the way that I'm projecting this one to go? And I also say yes on that as well. It's real interesting. But not every figure is going to go like this, but I think that this one has the potential. But let's go ahead and take a look at some of these other figures that are up here on the screen. And pulling this up, Cyborg. And what's interesting about Cyborg right now is you've got a low stock remaining on this figure. I'll pull it up. Here you go. Oh, well, Aries up, but you can get the exclusive. Actually, no, the exclusive's gone. So you see I'm pulling that up here, and you see right on the screen the exclusive's gone. And actually, if you want to get this figure right now, the collector edition, now with a low stock remaining, so that's news there. And what happens to this figure? Is this figure iconic enough? Is it special enough? Is it niche enough? Especially for all the DC fans out there and trying to build their Justice League collection. Is this unique enough where this one will be a grail? And I say yes. This is one of those where sooner than later it's going to go high. And I don't know when. I believe that they can, and they probably will do 2.0s of all of these figures in the future and years to come. But right now, especially with where DC's going, would they do that right now? Possibly. I wouldn't rule it out. But I'm telling you, this one has the potential to be where you're waiting for a little bit for another Cyborg, this version of Cyborg anyway, perhaps a lot of it, and this one is almost gone for sure. And continuing to stay with DC, and very, very interesting here. And this is the 89 Batman. And news here. Not only is the collector edition on waitlist, but the deluxe edition is now on waitlist as well. And this was another one where people lost their minds. Collectors were spilling their coffee. They were flooding their collection rooms, swimming in coffee, trying to snorkel up to try and find some extra money to be able to get, whether it's the collector edition and the deluxe edition. And now not only one, but both are gone. And even while this figure has been available for quite some months, but now on waitlist, even during all of those months, the former DX version was still fetching around $400 to $500. So you have to wonder, what can happen then with this 2.0, if you will, or upgraded version or modern version of this particular Batman from 89? Could it fetch even more? And perhaps, what, $350 for the deluxe? Could this be a $600 to $700 figure? And I say yes. Wow. It's on waitlist. And I'm going to type this in because I don't got it bookmarked. But the other one that is on waitlist, which, breaking news here, is from The Flash, not just the Ben Affleck version of Batman, but the Batman with the older Michael Keaton head sculpt has now hit the waitlist. And I believe that's called the Modern Suit. Let me go ahead and pick it up. And waitlist. $310 gone. And there it is, with Michael Keaton's likeness. And what about this one? And so many Batman collectors like to have every version of Batman, if they could, from Hot Toys in their display. I know so many collectors, and some I've heard from, that would like, for instance, a George Clooney version from Hot Toys that they could put up in their display. How many would like this Michael Keaton version from the Flash movie? Well, this one right here, is this one going to be as popular as Gore from Love and Thunder? Or perhaps this one goes crazy like the Green Goblin from No Way Home right now, like Doc Ock from No Way Home right now, like both Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield from No Way Home right now. Does this one follow the same trends? And I say yes. This one's like, you kidding me? Wow. And it is gone, ladies and gentlemen. It is gone. And that is absolutely crazy. And look, here's another one. Before I get on to next thing, just staying with DC, and a figure right now, just like that 1989 Michael Keaton Batman that I put up earlier, that's now on waitlist, both versions. The old version of Bane from Hot Toys goes between $300 and $400 still right now. And this one's $314, this one. And it's on waitlist already. So, you have to ask yourself with this one, does this have the potential to be large and a grail in the future? And I say yes. especially when the reviews come out on this and we actually see what's going on. But this one on waitlist as well. And then moving here, another update, which some people did not know, but the collector edition of Indiana Jones at $295 is almost sold out. And does that mean that the deluxe version is soon going to follow suit? Usually, from what I've seen, it does. But right here, and this figure, honestly, I mean, I know that they teased it last year, but they didn't put it up on pre-order for months. And collectors are wondering, where the heck is this? So I really think this was just from a few months ago, to be quite honest with you. And already, just with a few months, you're getting an almost sold out. So look at that sign right here. It's not even low stock remaining. This one right here is a different kind of wording, and I'm blowing it up so you can see it. Almost sold out. So you have to ask yourself, does that mean because of this specific wording, almost sold out, that the deluxe version may be almost sold out too? And I say yes. Very, very, very interesting with Indiana Jones for sure. Do they want, with this Indiana Jones, do they want to have as much stock of this as they had of the Snowspeeder pilot Luke? And I don't think so. I really, really don't. And with so many of these figures, look, whether it's Luke or both Iron Man's Mark 85 battle damage or non-battle damage, and that's a terrific Iron Man, and both of those versions, and they're both still in stock at many retailers, and in some places right now you're finding those for 50% off. And as good as those Iron Man versions are, because I've been looking at trying to get those, well, with some of these 2.0s coming out that now have rolling eyes function and have some of these other cool innovations, I'm thinking about maybe I want to just go with that. And it's real interesting. But waitlisted, future grails, Indiana Jones, Cyborg, either version, old or young, 89 or the Flash movie of the Keaton Batman, Luke Skywalker. Look, and with Luke, you could look at some other things that are going on besides the fact that whenever they release a Luke or announce a Luke anyway, these figures go, they stay number one for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. I mean, look at the Bespin Luke right now. And it's already selling for more, and in some places outselling it, than the original DX07. And look, I'll pull this up onto the screen. And, this is a Luke DX07 that just sold for $370. And this in particular seller, with 60,100 feedback, had two in stock and doesn't have any more in stock. And what was the original retail of this Luke that's on waitlist? And you could see right here, $290 for the regular, and pulling up the deluxe version of this particular, it's like $335 for the deluxe edition. So already going for $35 more than its retail price. So, especially with a character like this, that this one has rolling eyes function and things of that nature, it's real interesting indeed, for sure. And look, if you like what you watched here today, you just may want to consider joining my channel. Now, this is another video that I'm putting up for people who are members of my channel. We call each other Cantina Insiders. And listen, it's cheaper than a dozen eggs in this volatile, crazy global economic, global economy. It's cheaper than a dozen eggs in most places, and a gallon of gas in most states. Okay, than a quart of half and half in most places that you would go and try to get some cream for your 6 scale Cantina coffee, baby. And I dive into this, and there's been so much about this, but who is better, Hot Toys or InArt? And you're seeing the two Jokers on the screen, and I'll dive into things that weren't dived into quite a bit. Like, there wasn't a whole lot of talk when, the InArt Joker came out, and it was like, oh, it's so much better than Hot Toys. Well, what about the fact that the Hot Toys version came out in 2012, 2013, that DX11? Should we give that a little bit of a break, that it was like a 10-year almost difference? And I would think that hopefully it would be better than something from that long ago. We're going to dive into the whole psychology behind this. Does it matter really who's better? And what about, like, the crazy feedback of the Supergirl from the Flash movie? And what about the prototype of the Superman from InArt? Can we draw comparisons on either one to compare against the company, against those companies? You're not going to want to miss this. All you have to do, besides believe, click on the little join button, see everything that it comes with. If you think you could benefit from it, I appreciate your support. Come join the channel today. This is going to be coming up here over the next several days. You're not going to want to miss this. Who's better? Real talk, real raw, with Dark Jedi Aries Tarrington. I don't always buy coffee out, but when I do, I do it right here at the 6 Scale Cantina. Stay thirsty, my friends.